when Robert Mason enlisted for military service.
Richard Janicki has received a message from the past. It's a reproduction of a postcard sent by soldier Robert Mason more than a century ago, originally mailed to Janicki's house, where Mason's family once lived.
It has a lot of history to it. It was a moment where we got to connect with the history of this house and this community.
Once we've decided it's a usable postcard, we can fix it to be able to get it through.
History professor Jonathan Vance and a small team of researchers at Western University sent hundreds of reproductions of First World War postcards to the Canadian addresses that originally received them, to give those living there now a glimpse into life during the war.
The postcards remind people that men and women who served in uniform, who died overseas, they lived in the houses we know. They walked on the streets that we know. They went to the schools and the churches we know.
Vance says the contents of the postcards are light and affectionate, rarely focusing on the brutalities of war.
They wanted to know exactly what was going on at home, because that was a way to root themselves in their own family, in their own past, their own experience. So you get everything from birth of new kittens to we're putting an addition on the shed.
And we assume the house is super.
Riley Brooks helped Vance make sure the reproductions reached homes that still exist.
A lot of love went into this project. Connecting the past to the present is one of the most fascinating things ever. And I just hope Canadians take a second to, think about the past, especially on Remembrance Day.
Janicki says Mason's postcard brings to mind the wars raging today and their impact on those who cannot escape.
I think it provides more of an opportunity to reflect the millions of families that are lost through the act of war. I think of those moments as well.
So does Jonathan Vance.
It's a good way for people to remember how fortunate they are that these sorts of things aren't happening in our neighborhoods, in our country, and maybe to not take so much for granted.
Vance says he hopes those who received a reproduction postcard will reflect on that, as well as the sacrifices and service of Canada's veterans. Idil Musa, CBC News, Toronto.